Hey guys, in today's video I just wanted to have a brief sort of video to help people with how to tell somebody about their self-harm. I will make other videos on how to tell people about eating disorders or depression, things like that, but today it's just going to be about self-harm. So when you're telling somebody about your self-harm, there's a lot of things that you don't want to say, and there's a few things that you do need to say in order for that person to understand. If that person is a self-harmer as well, then it should be quite easy to tell them, obviously, because then they completely understand what's going on, through giving their experience, and you can share different ways of coping with it and stuff, which is really good. But if it's somebody who you feel may judge you for it, or it's like a boss at work and you need time off because it's getting just too bad, or you need to go into inpatient because of it, or there's a reason you need to tell that person, other than your parents, because I've already made one how to tell your parents, but as an outsider, so somebody who's not your family, it can be really hard to tell a person because you don't know how they're going to react. It's the same with your parents, you don't know what the response is going to be, if it's going to be good or bad. Good, they don't take it too badly, and they don't freak out and start throwing stuff everywhere and that. But anyway, so getting back to how to tell them. So say it's a friend at school or something like that, you just got to be really really careful about what you say, because you don't want to seem like you're attention seeking, or you don't want to seem like it's a huge deal, because it is a huge deal, but you just want to sort of lightly talk about the subject at first, and then maybe in other conversations go deeper into it, unless you feel comfortable enough to go deeper into it the first time you talk about it. You just don't want to scare them too much, because a lot of people are like, whoa, you need to calm down, or just get over it, stop it, and it's not as easy as that. So yeah, so you can just sort of tell them briefly, by the way, there's something that I really wanted to tell you. I don't know how you're going to take it, but if you don't agree with it, or if you think I'm attention seeking, then I'm not at all, because this is my thing that I have to deal with, and I'm trying to learn new ways of how to cope with things in my life, but it's really hard right now. You could say something like that if you want. Yeah, so then just sort of say, I self-harm, and then if they're like, what's that? Or you could just say, I cut myself sometimes, and just sort of don't throw yourself at them. So don't be like, okay, I cut myself this many times a day, and then I use this object, or just sort of say, I cut myself sometimes. It's not to be attention seeking, it's just my release, and it's how I deal with my pain, you could say, or it's how I deal with my emotions. I know it's not the way to deal with things, but I fell into it or something, whatever you want to say, just sort of make it brief and short and sweet. Yeah, well, that's the best advice I could probably give you guys. I think when you're sat with them, you'll sort of know what to say anyway, words just sort of yeah. But then if it's somebody your boss at work, they need to know about certain things, in case it affects your ability to work, or like you're having a hard time at work and you just sort of need somebody to go to, you know, it's good to tell somebody at work. It might not have to be a boss, it could just be like one of the other workers. And you know, again, you don't have to go into detail unless you want to. And if you are having like a breakdown, or you feel like you're gonna break down at work, or anywhere for that matter, then maybe it's a good time to open up and tell them and say like, you know, I just can't deal with this anymore. Like, I cut myself and, you know, it's really hard to stop. Like, you could say that you're addicted if you're addicted, and you could say like how long you've been doing it for, or, you know, but I wouldn't go into detail like what you use or like how many times you do it a day or in a week or something. Like, that's just, they don't need to know that. And you don't want to scare them either, because they might be like, you need to go to hospital or something, and you know, a lot of people are afraid of hospitals, so just keep those two things out of the conversation. But I mean, like, there's not a lot to it. I mean, it's scary trying to tell them. It's like, it's sort of like you're coming out, like when you tell somebody that you have a mental illness. I know self-harm isn't classed as a mental illness yet, but anyway, like, if you're having, you know, these feelings at work, like, you definitely need to express them, or like anywhere for that matter, like, you need to express them, really. But yeah, like, self-harm is like a really big thing at the moment. Like, there's so many people on YouTube who've posted like my self-harm story, and it's so upsetting to see that many people, you know. And then if you think about it, like, that many people on YouTube, and then all the other people that haven't posted videos on YouTube who self-harm, there's probably like, God, way over 10 million people in the world who probably self-harm, you know. So that's horrible to think. But like, if I could help just one person, I think that would just make my day, because I just really want to help people. And I know these problems are like huge right now, and you know, there's not a lot of help. I mean, there is, but you know, it's still quite a taboo subject. But anyway, what I was saying was, when you're trying to come out about a mental illness, like, and say, oh, I have depression, I have, you know, I have self-harm issues, or whatever, like, it's really hard, because it's like coming out as gay. Like, it's not normal, if you get me. Like, even though so many people are gay, so many people have mental illness, it's not really talked about as much as it is, like, as if you were straight, or if you didn't have a mental illness, if you know what I mean. So coming out is really scary. Like, people might say it's a phase, or they might say, oh, just get over it, just deal with it, you know, just stop doing what you're doing, because it's harming yourself, it's damaging your body, you know. Like, some people don't get it at all, they just don't. And at the end of the day, like, when you tell somebody about your self-harm, if they don't agree with it, or they don't accept it, or they can't understand it, that's their problem, okay? Like, it's not your problem at all. Like, they're the ones who don't get it, they're the ones who don't sort of know what to do or how to react to it. And if they do react negatively, then it's definitely, like, not your problem. Like, you just know in future not to really talk about it to them again, because, you know, they're obviously not worth it if they're gonna react like that. I mean, some people do come around and they say, oh, look, I'm really sorry about what I said, like, I didn't mean it like that, I just didn't know how to react. And if they do that, then that's fine. Like, you know, that's understandable. They needed a bit of a, I don't know, a negative reaction to therefore sort of accept it and understand it. But yeah, I mean, you know, so many people deal with this thing these days, and there's so many negative, like, comments about it. It's just ridiculous. Like, if you self-harm, you're an emo, for example. Like, you're a attention whore, and you just want everyone's attention all the time. And when you know, we strive to make it so that people don't see our cuts or our scars, you know? Like, when I was really badly self-harming, like, I tried everything to do it in places where nobody would see, you know? Most of my cuts are actually on my legs, like, and on my thighs, so nobody really saw them unless, you know, it was by accident or something. And I was in fear that people would see them because I did not want them to see that pain that I inflicted on myself, you know? And a lot of people do feel that way. Most people feel that way. Anyway, so I'm just going to wrap it up now, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and if you liked it, please like this video. And also, if you want to comment down below about a video that you want to request to me to make, that would be great. I'd love to have as many requests as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon.